Okay, today I'm going to show you how to make a real easy curry dish. It has chicken, apples, onions, cranberries, and curry, and a little bit of cream or milk. First thing you want to do is actually get the rice ready, because the rice takes longer, so you might as well just let it cook while you do everything else. So I'm cooking for 2 people today, so I cook about half a cup of rice per person. So I have about a cup of rice, and I'm using the rice cooker because it's so easy. So a cup of rice with 2 cups of water, and then press cook, and then just forget about that until you're done. Pretty much, just keep it going. Yeah. So very first thing you want to do for this dish is make sure that you have your chicken thawed and ready, and start chopping your apples and start chopping your onions. So I used about half of a large onion and peeled it and diced it relatively thin, small pieces there. And with the apples, you don't want to dice them too small. You also don't want them to be too big. But like the size of pineapple chunks when you buy a can of pineapple, you want them to be about that size. So that's probably the biggest job, is to cut these 2 things up, and then the only thing you have to do after that requires any effort whatsoever is probably just cutting the chicken into strips. So it's a really easy recipe. So I need both hands, so I'm gonna grab the pan and everything, and then I'll get back to you. So to fry the onions and the apples, you need about 2 tablespoons of butter. Instead I'm using margarine just because it's around the house and it's a little bit cheaper. So if you could, if you want to spend the money and you have butter, then use that. It actually gives it a little bit better flavor. And don't put the apples and the onions in at the same time. Put the onions in first. Okay. I have it at about medium high, something like that. It's already smelling really good. I love the smell of cooked onions. The apples don't take too much time at all. It's a fruit, so okay. So just let those cook. You cut the onions pretty fine, so they shouldn't take too long. You just want to keep them in there until they're just a little bit soft, so that all the oniony flavor is gone. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is clean up my mess a little bit. Clean as you go. It's always a good strategy. Clean my mess a little bit, and then I'm gonna cut this chicken into strips. I'd say it's about 1.5 chicken breast, boneless skinless chicken breast for each person. And I have 2 people here, so I have 3 boneless skinless chicken breasts. You can even do this vegetarian style. You don't even have to use any sort of chicken broth or chicken whatsoever. You can just use vegetable broth and not even put chicken in it. So it's a good dish either way. So I'm just going to cut this chicken up, and we'll continue from there. And my onions are pretty much softened up, so now I'm going to add the apples. And I sliced up my chicken. You just want to cut them into strips. You can cut them into chunks as well, but I like to cut them into strips. And this is where you add the curry as well. Okay. So I need both hands. Okay, now the curry's added. I added about 1 or 2 teaspoons of curry. Later on you can start adding more if you want more of that taste, but I just started off small just to get the flavor of the curry into the onions and the apple. So that won't take too much longer. The onions took about, 3 or 4 minutes, and then the apple's only going to take maybe another 2 or 3 minutes. Because you're going to be cooking it a lot afterwards as well. Once you start adding the curry and everything, the butter really starts to soak into the apples and all that. So that's when I turn it down a little bit, or else it'll start burning. Okay, so what I did is I took the apple and onion out of the pan, and I'm gonna put the chicken into the pan now. And I'm not gonna cook it all the way. I'm just gonna maybe cook it halfway and just brown it a bit. So what I'm gonna do, I want to get that nice browned taste out of it. You actually get a lot of flavor like when you get that brownness on the chicken. So I crank the heat up, and I'm gonna add some more. Okay, so I took the chicken out, and what you have left over in the pan, this is why you want to use the same pan for everything, for cooking all of this. What you have left is like the flavor from the chicken, the apple, the curry, the butter, and everything. And this is really important to make sure that you use the same pan. It might look all burnt and gross and stuff, but this is what you want to use. So now I'm gonna make the stock. Okay, so I added the flour, about 2 teaspoons of flour. What this does is you're probably thinking, okay, now what? Like you're gonna put the flour on, what it does is it just soaks up all the butter and all the flavor and everything, and thickens the sauce a little bit. So we're gonna add the. Okay, so the broth that I got is reduced sodium, no name. Any other broth will have like lots of MSG and all that sort of stuff. This actually has broth from like carrots and like it's like a real broth, and it's only like $1.50 for this. So it's not like you're paying extra for the real thing. So that's what I suggest. And the recipe calls for 1 cup. So I mixed in a little butter actually with the flour. And it's kind of just sitting there. I'm gonna add the broth and heat that up. So I don't constantly have the heat on and stuff while I'm getting all the ingredients together. I actually take it off until I have it ready. So the flour's kind of picking it up a little bit. Just want the broth to heat up a little bit. And what else did we get here? Next we're going to stir in the milk. Okay, so I added 1 cup of milk, so that's together 1 cup of broth, 1 cup of milk. The chicken and the onions and everything are still on the side. We just have to wait till this concoction is done, and then we're going to mix the ingredients with this nice sauce. It's a really, really good sauce. Okay. So I actually tasted it, and I added a little bit of salt and pepper and a bunch more curry. It's up to you how much curry you want to add, but I added quite a bit. So there you have it. It smells really good, and look forward to eating it. I'm just going to put the naan bread in, about a second.
सो गिराना दामन में आना, ये सो गिराना दामन में आना, किसकी इनायत है